What's up, everybody? Man, it's your boy, Mr. Dugas, coming at y'all with another video, man. And today I'm going to talk about the breaking news. You have the Los Angeles Clippers just signed Paul George to a max contract worth over for 5 years, yo. Before I get into this video, man, for everyone, if you want to give me a follow on my social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, I'm gonna have all that information down in the description box. I may not always get a chance to respond to questions and comments on these videos, so feel free to DM me, and come holler at your boy, yo. First up, man, shout out to Paul George, man. Shout out to him, yo. You know, not only did he's like, before I even say this, man, he's a really good basketball player, yo. One of the best two-way players in the league whenever nothing on the line. You know what I'm saying? But it's funny how, though I don't think Doc Rivers is the greatest coach of all time, but I do think Doc Rivers is a very good coach, yo. I think Doc Rivers is one of the top echelon coaches, in the NBA. Doc Rivers basically gets the fallout behind this, though they said it was a mutual agreement, but we know Doc Rivers basically took the fallout of the way the Clippers basically just choked away in the second round of the playoffs. And then Paul George basically gets rewarded for coming up short, man. For me personally, if it was me, if I had to have a choice between I'm moving on from Doc Rivers or I'm moving on from Paul George, I would have kept Doc and moved on from Paul George, man. You probably wouldn't have get the caliber of player, but you would have got somebody with a bigger heart, yo. You would have got somebody with a bigger heart. You could have kept on, hang on to Doc, because from what I understand, just the things that I've seen, the things that I've read, Paul George is not a very likable guy, especially within that locker room of the Clippers. I mean, you cannot, bruh, be wide open with a corner three-pointer and hit the side of the backboard. Like, you can't do it, bruh. But, that's just me personally, because I just feel like, the way the team morale was, and I just feel like the way that he came up short, like, I wasn't giving you this deal right now. I'll have to at least see you out there with Tyronn Lue. I don't know. I don't think he was a free agent. I think until next season, I want to say. So I would have just rolled with it and see what happened. But nevertheless, man, they run back, they pretty much got Serge Ibaka, instead of Montrezl Harrell, and everybody else is pretty much the same. So I guess they feeling like the problem was Doc Rivers, instead of Paul George. But like I say, he's a really good basketball player, a really good two-way player. So I guess the Clippers looked at that and said, we could win with a different coach, but we're gonna stick around with Paul George, man. They got to do something, bro, because they got the team, to make noise. Now, I think the gap between them and the Lakers have widened even more with all the moves the Lakers made in the offseason. But for the Clippers, they got to at least get to the Western Conference Finals this year, man. I think they've never been there in the history of their franchise. They can't choke away like they did last season. But me credit, man, I know he's a great player, but for me, it's like, how do you perform when everything is on the table? Do you perform your best in the biggest games? And for me, Paul George has not done that. The Indiana Pacers, they've survived. They got rid of them. They're a perennial playoff team, with like a middle seed in the East. Victor Oladipo to me was a really good player, for the Indiana Pacers, especially before the injury. I look at the Oklahoma City Thunder, man. They survived. They made it just as far. They actually made it further with Paul George than they did without him. When Paul George was there, the first year they lost in Game 6. The second year they lost in Game 5? They lost in Game 5. And last year they made it to a Game 7, of the first round. So for me, I felt like he was the problem, but I get it as far as the standpoint of he's a good player. You feel like players are more valuable than coaches, especially in the NBA nowadays, yo. But other than that, congrats to him on getting his major contract extension at a place that I know he really wants to be. But with that being said, man, that's all I got for y'all today. Appreciate y'all checking out the video. Hit the like button for your boy. Give me a subscribe, man. I'm going to have Miami Heat and NBA content throughout the year. Also, this coming Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central, 5 Pacific, I'm going to do a live Q&A. Y'all come on there, ask me anything, tell me anything. I'll answer your questions, respond to your comments, and give you a shout out on the live, yo. Y'all should join me. It'll be some good stuff. Until then, yo, y'all have a blessed one. Let's go Heat.